11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning. Good morning.
The 8th day in the month of December 2025. Just to emphasize the fact that 8 days gone already in the month of December. I mean, the last month in the year 2025, and gradually we're saying our byes to the year 2025 and welcoming the new year 2026. Season's greetings to everyone, right? Especially friends of this frequency, Mainland 98.3 FM, known as the Sound of Lagos. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is where we place utmost priority. We'll definitely pay attention to you having a very, very interesting morning while you are going on with your daily activity. Just you can always bank on us and trust our judgment on keeping you updated, keeping you abreast, bringing you up to speed as regards to what's going on in our country, in our dailies, in our newspapers. So, perusing the pages of our major newspapers, the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, are at, right? And as much as the Sound of Lagos is concerned, will definitely make your week worthwhile. Will make you enjoy every bit of your time with us throughout this week and even beyond. It's a promise, so we'll definitely keep to it. Right, you're welcome on board once again. Trends on the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Tʀᴇ So once again, we'll look into the several issues happening in our dailies with the help of our in-house analysts to give us perspectives, better understanding to these issues, as well as try to help analyze audiovisual experience. And you can also listen via Radio Garden, because we have been able to make sure that regardless of your location, Play Store also very much accessible and easy to use. Double our analysts for this morning, and of course headlines that surfaced on our dailies during the weekend. We have Tʀᴇ, whatever it is, 5 ambassadorial nominees haunted by country chief of army staff invoked service conditions to expand manpower, and commanders ordered to manage reactions. Military Kwam to prove lineage in and illegal mines. Scrapping mother tongue life-saving blood transfusion despite 30 million naira donation. Defense Minister Badar resigned with riders inside the Cold War between Badar and Matawalle. Here to lead, work and deliver. UK for recording sexual act. And also from the defending my cameraman, that according to EBS journalists, Asen, at the weekend, about the story. This says stakeholders collaboration to end menace. Court remands 4 foreigners over alleged kidnapping, hostage taking in Ogun. And also during the weekend, allegation of land grabbing is handwork of mischief makers. And also here says Wike justifies defection of Rivers Speaker, 15 lawmakers to APC. And we also have Dangote assures of stable fuel supply ahead of Christmas. We have that in the Guardian newspaper. And danger looms as pests threaten ginger farmers' yield. We have that. From the Guardian newspaper, rather. And also the Vanguard newspaper captured during the weekend. South moves against Northern bandits, which riders. And also a statement credited to Governor Yahaya saying how herdsmen Sokoto. Also, we had reports of APC governor. We also had weekend and from River State, 16 PDP lawmakers defect to ease of the papers the weekend. Right, we'll try and definitely connect with in-house analyst Said Fuad to kickstart the analysis and review for this. Good morning, Said Fuad.
Yeah, good morning, Lady Mo. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing too?
Fantastic. I'm good.
How was your weekend? Because, right. All right. You're welcome on board, Said Fuad. All right. Because of our time. It is trends in the papers on Mail and IT. Said Fuad, during the weekend, the Punch from some sources, the findings showed why Abubakar Badaru, that's the former defense minister, resigned. But findings by the Punch during the weekend, Saturday Punch to be precise, that show that the former minister was compelled to resign following a protracted Cold War between him and the Minister of State for Defense, that's Bello Matawalle. Military sources within the Defense Ministry, they said that Badaru's long-running animosity with Matawalle rather than health concerns ultimately forced him out. That there's this, they just continue to maintain, cordial appearance in public, but they had a frosty relationship between Said Fuad. That's according to the finding during the weekend. Wow, Badaru, especially questioning his competence as still being the Minister of State for Defense, Said Fuad. Do you have anything to say about that?
Nothing much other than to say that two incompetent people were actually fighting themselves. You know that again, we decided to expand our government unnecessarily because again, part of it. And in doing that, what it means is that you have to create positions where they are not. What are they supposed to be? You have a minister and you have a minister for state, more like a deputy minister. It might even be a result of ego. I'm a former governor, you're a former governor. You never knew what they were doing. Again, one of the, there's no use wasting time on two incompetent people. We just hope that, after this role of security will take over. I still don't understand why Matawalle is keeping his job.
Domineering within the ministry.
They can give him another job if he has a very strong relationship with nobody, So if he has a very good relationship, lines of
which yesterday, Sunday morning, we had another. That's Nigeria's neighbor. When we saw some soldiers led by Colonel Pascal. Announcing a coup, all democratic institution. It took some hours actually before the government, loyal force. And, it was a very, the political space, especially African democracy, a 10-1 yesterday, which we almost able. They had regrouped as well. Verbal had requested immediate Nigerian air support in view of the urgency and seriousness of the population. And in the second request, the authorities of Benin also requested the deployment of Nigerian Air Force assets within ground forces, strictly for mission. What are the takeouts? What are the messages?
Well, it's you understand. So when without
democracy we practice in Africa.
Democracy, the ingredients, the indices, it has to be about the people. That's why it's called government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So everything is centered around the people. What we have in Africa is actually democracy. But in reality, practice is democracy that puts the interests of the people. Democracy. Yes, you can pretend to say you are practicing democracy, but in reality, when you check and reach, you see people calling, so we have to protect this democracy. No. Yes, we say no to military rule. Because in power, they are not even trained to be in power. That's just the reality. These are people who are trained to defend the territorial integrity of their countries, who seek the mandate of the people, eventually become worse off in character, in principle, in idea, and practice. Individuals create a gated form of a community that they pretend to be democracy, and then we keep following. And this is what you have across the whole of Africa, except for maybe one or two countries, really. How do you call what happened in Tanzania that democracy? How would you call what happened in Cameroon democracy? Even in Nigeria, we are still questioning our own democracy. What do we have now? The jumpology we have among politicians are dividends of democracy. Dividends of democracy. It has become a cliche. In reality, we are the so-called dividends of democracy.
And Said Fuad, the consistent justification for this move and attempt the people in the government, Said Fuad.
They can continue to live in denial about it. I've seen people say, oh, you should thank for God for democracy. this your job you are doing would not have existed. And so what? Oh, this job exists, but the larger majority of, whereas you are also part of the country, you are seeing your reality becoming worse. Your living standard is becoming. See, people, you live in a country where you look at the democratic space, the so-called godfather somewhere, you cannot even get into the democratic space. You cannot wake up because people who determine the fate of other people. And a lot of times, the worst of us are the people who control this space. Look at even when it starts to be 7 years. And then, to make matters worse, they banned other leading opposition figures in the country. They are supposed to have an election next year, maybe more.
Right.
And then ahead of the election, they banned all the major opposition figures in the country. They will have, and you know, they will always use the instrument of the law. President Sulu banned through the democratic. So what we're saying is that, look, but you can't have this passive, this confused, this gated democracy and continue to say, oh, this democracy, nobody can tell me that this democracy is better than military rule. Killed by soldiers for democracy to return. As students, we knew what we say. Only for us to have a democracy with people in Agbada who have no respect for the rule of law, who don't know military intervention in governance in Africa. This is not, but are they also quick to tell themselves the truth about what democracy should be? The nonsense that happened in Cameroon, what was happened in Cameroon, where a 91-year-old Pobia was still able to retain his position as the leader of that country. What was, did you hear African Union issue any statement on that election table?
Right.
African leaders must begin to do the right thing to make these kinds of intervention, military intervention, unattractive. So far, they refuse to practice democracy the way it ought to be practiced. These things will continue to be attractive. We will continue to have these disruptions. And at the level of responsibility we have with our so-called politicians, and look, they can be politicians, but they might not be Democrats. You just want to be in power. So what we have are majorly politicians, merely politicians who are
fortunate. Well, according to
and then the one that happened in Cotonou, again, I hope President Talon has gotten the message. I hope he has gotten the message. Whether successful or not, it appears that it will be thwarted. President, you know, from the days of Zoglo, Boniyayi, alone, now this is about the second military attempt at taking over power in that country. There's something about the country, and I think government responded to a request from the government of Benin, rescued, you know, the so-called democracy in Benin Republic from the hands of the military. So we have that kind of capacity,
You knew how we also responded to the rumor of the coup, even here in Nigeria now.
No, what I'm saying is that the government response, you can see that the government is even present its capacity to respond to a request. It's now the military go, and there's nothing we can do. Right? Is that not what they say?
Yeah, right.
But before they get to those communities, they must have moved from what. I remember when the governor of Zamfara, Dada Lawal, said that, look, before they attack our community, they get the information. They signal the security operatives from territory. Bandits are running riots everywhere. Yes, I understand that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu government knows how dangerous it is. No, you have Mali, Burkina Faso, and then of having anti-democratic elements and forces running countries that the same capacity deployed to protect Nigeria.
Right concern. If you continue to the effective democracy, really in its sense, joint force repel coup plotters in Benin Republic. Away from that quickly, with the effort so far, especially when it comes to tackling the scene that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron yesterday they held talks on the security crisis which is facing the country. Talked the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria and other top officials, which they parleyed with the National Security Advisor that the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, they will strengthen the partnership with the authorities and with the federal government to provide
Western leader that President Tinubu seems to have a president frequenting he's always visited France. Sometimes things it is well established that he has a well-rounded, well-rounded way for us to have been able to have a press between them. But again, you have, on that, I think Congressman Riley has come and gone. I think he's also posted that US officials who are still in Nigeria, some of them visiting Benue State, the US president. But whatever it is, there's nothing wrong in getting partnership and support. Okay, but what kind of support? Intelligence sharing. Remember again, relationship with a lot of their former colonies, with France. So, and the question is France looking at a new friend in Africa, out of their former colonies?
Right.
There was really no freedom for them. Can we really get from our friendship with France? What does France even have to offer? So it's not just to continue to have these vague statements.
Well, that's also in the Punch newspaper, of course, the biggest story. Away from that quickly, we also earlier in the year, some months ago.
Maybe 1 or 2 months ago.
Yes, and then the salaries of the engineers sacked in September during its face-off with Peng of resorting to another industrial actions. But according to findings revealing that the salary states where they initially worked, that's Zamfara, Borno, Benue, and Sokoto states, among others, and so concrete road construction sites in Borno and Ebonyi state, as well as rise to the redeployment. Many of them actually rejected it. So relying on assurances that Pengasan will
go and give them jobs somewhere. When this issue came up, they were said to have first been given them, or you can redeploy them. So it's not redeployment. There are some who have accepted it.
Yes.
And they said, you are not working. This is even the first time I'm seeing an employee dictating to an happy with where they've deployed you to. You can resign. So when this thing happened, they said, okay, no problem, we'll redeploy you. Now, it's not funny. When you are working in refinery in Lagos, suddenly they say you should go to a coal mine in Enugu, or they send you to road construction site near Sambisa Forest.
It's
just like a tenant fighting a landlord. No matter what could have happened, you will see you an employer and an employee. At the end of the day.
Update anyway, page 13 captures that in the Punch newspaper. Quickly, let's add Governor Siminalayi Fubara. I don't know why we've not really heard much about him. Turbulence in the state. Last Friday, we had 7 to the APC and instantly, shifting the legislature's balance, deepening uncertainty around the governor's political field, the condition or caveats given to him side far. But that's the update. How soon? It will happen.
How soon? Yes. When they've been decimated. You understand? Again, these guys are working on signal. They've moved. They just teleguide them. More like political zombies. If you understand what
exactly.
So, Lady Moss, since we've been on this, the intention is clear. In fact, his intention in Rivers State is even clear. The answer is even so easy to get than what you get when you ask the question what you want with the PDP at the national level.
How the feud started, of course. Yes.
The Rivers State, Wike himself has explained what I did everything that I needed to do to put them in power, and they want to take that thing away from me. So it is about the control of the entire.
Well, he has not been silent about it.
Who he can toss around. Adults, grown adults, just toss them around. They stand still for 6 months using the federal might. The minister wants him to move. Maybe they want him to move.
Though, according to a government official, a top government,
don't have the intention to defend. They will tell him.
Of course, this is
one thing to have the intention. The other thing to say, we are move.
Pick your.
You know what I call a political zombie.
Who had predicted that a time would come when the country will lend money to other nations. Wile Odua, at the well-attended event commemorating the
next year.
Yes,
I want to believe you. She was quoted out of context. Time.
Yes.
Where Nigeria will be in the position to lend other nations money. Not trying to make excuses for her. Looking at if she said by 2026, Nigeria will be in the position to lend other nations money. Because if that's what she said, anymore. From 2026, things will begin to get better, and then Nigeria will get to the point where it cannot be a particular timeline. I don't know whether she's talking about this generation or second, fourth decade. as we are presently positioned, people are accusing me of budget. This one that we are still on a lending spree, maybe more. I will now get to the point. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't think this generation is watching.
News of federal government securing the release of 100 abducted, secure the release of 100 school children abducted, and it had attacked the school, which they abducted 315 people, comprising 303 students and 12 teachers. Right, and so it was gathered that the release of 100
these bandits are releasing our children.
That's all is well. The Guardian also captured.
It's very frustrating to begin to read someone's friends and their parents.
Of course.
Some of them imagine what they'll be going through, being beaten, because it seems that you are looking for who to blame or give excuses. If you have it, and for over a week or two, they are still in the den of this
time. Imo State government also autonomous community